Hey, it's Jason Creel. I'm going to give you my May update for my own personal lawn care business. May is, in my mind, sort of the end of the busy spring months and the beginning of setting in for, the rest of the year, kind of once you got your schedule and everything running full speed ahead in the lawn care business. So for me, in May, I picked up 13 customers. So I think March I had gotten, I forget, maybe 28. April was maybe 30, something in that range. I forget the exact numbers. And then you see a significant drop off in May. Yet still, 13 is close to a customer every other day. So worthwhile. And the exciting news for me is just reaching a milestone of 200 customers. So in about 17 months with my new business and new area, so from last January to through May of this year, to get to 200 customers. So hopefully the next 200 will come faster, maybe in a year from now, but 200 in a way is a milestone just because of a number, but also it's a sense of security point for me, because the business is established enough to where it's providing an income for my family, and it was at a security point where now I can start growing and really trying to build something for the future. So still got a long way to go, but happy to have reached the 200 customer plateau. So let's think, what went right, what went wrong this month. I think, well, let me give you a couple things went right. So this is my first video, and this is slightly off the subject of lawn care, but first video with a new camera setup. So hopefully the audio and visual on this video is improved over my previous ones, and so hoping to upgrade the quality of that. I have upgraded a piece of equipment that I'll be talking about. Let's see, as far as went wrong, let me point out a few things went wrong. I did lose a few customers. I can think of a couple that I lost, and so I wanted to expound on that for a minute, of what it means, how to lose, when you're losing customers, and just how to go about thinking about that and processing that, because I take it very personal sometimes. I'm trying to grow and not taking it so personal. But for instance, let me give you an example of one customer I lost. So I'm still cutting grass some and doing primarily weed control and fertilization. So I lost a mowing customer. I lost two actually this month. One, he had told me he was very pleased with the services, but some circumstances in his life had changed, and so he decided that him and someone else were gonna do it themselves, and no longer wanted to hire a lawn service. So that's totally understandable. The other one, and it was a little bit disheartening, because I had 4 lawns in this same neighborhood, and that made it kind of worthwhile to go to this neighborhood and knock out these 4 small lawns in no time. Well, I lost 2 in the same neighborhood in the same month. So so that wasn't a good thing. But so the first one lost, that's understandable. Second one I lost, and it was a situation where, so I mowed this customer's grass all last year, every other week at $35 per cut, which it's a smaller lawn, but I mean that's a very reasonable rate. But like I said, I had 4 yards in the same neighborhood, and I could knock them out real quick, and it made it worthwhile. Well, so I was cutting yard all last year, every other week, $35, and I try to do a decent job of communicating with my customers in the fall that, hey, typically my mowing season here in Alabama is April through October, for everyone. And I have some that may need to start in March, some that may go into November, and some that might go through the winter, cleaning up leaves and that sort of thing. But for most, it's April through October. Well, I try to communicate either through a letter or a phone call or text or something that, hey, in October, that, hey, this is the final month of lawn care for this year. Thank you for your business. We'll be starting back in April. And then communicate again, maybe in February, send out a letter saying, hey, we'll be starting up in 1st of April for lawn care. If you need me before then, please let me know. But regular service will begin in April. Well, I don't remember. I thought I had called all my mowing customers or notified them this spring that was the case. But so the way I do, I send a bill at the end of each month. So I cut this customer's lawn in April twice. Send her a bill at the end of April for $70. And then cut her grass twice in May. Well, we got the end of May, and I look and see who hasn't paid since last month. So I looked and I saw, well, she hasn't paid her April invoice. Let me, contact her. So I sent her a message. I said, hey, just wanted to follow up with you. I had noticed that I had not received your check from the previous month. Let me know if you have any questions. She sent a message back saying that she didn't know who had been cutting her grass because last year she had been emailed the invoice. This year I had mailed her a paper copy, hard copy of her invoice. So she said, I didn't know who had been cutting my grass since I did not receive an invoice by email like I did last year. She said, well, but I will pay you for the 2 months you've done, but we will be switching to a new service in June, basically effective immediately. And I thought, well, it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I thought, look at she said, I didn't know who'd been cutting my lawn. I was like, well, if you had to take a guess, do you think it might be the guy who cut it the whole time last year and who talked to you this year and said, hey, we're starting in April, and perhaps I forgot to do it. I don't, I didn't document that I had called her or texted her and said, but, if you were guessing who had been cutting your grass, who would be your best guess? Could it possibly be the guy who did it all last year? And, but, I lost her and there's no turning back. I just sent her a message, said thank you, and she did pay, so that was a good thing, and she made the decision to move on. And the way I look at that, just to give you an illustration how to look at that, in the lawn care business, you try not to take it personal, because the truth is you are going to lose customers. You're going to get fired, but you're going to gain more than you lose if you're doing things right. So let's picture it in the form of baseball. Let's say I'm a baseball pitcher. I throw 95 miles an hour. I don't, but let's say I did. And I'm pitching 95 mile an hour fastballs on the outside corner at the knees. Okay. Occasionally, a really good hitter is going to hit that out of the ballpark. Does that mean I'm a bad pitcher? Does that mean I need to quit pitching? Does that mean I need to give up baseball together and start playing golf? No. Does that mean 95 miles an hour at the knees on the outside corner is not a good pitch? No. So me showing up every other week, like I said I would, at a very reasonable rate and trying to provide service, at a good service, at a good rate, reliable, is that good for most people? Yes. For 95%, possibly more, that is good. Just like a 95 mile an hour fastball on the outside corner is going to work most of the time. It didn't work for this customer. It didn't work. And I don't take that personal. It doesn't mean I have to change everything I do. Now, I think you don't want to be so stubborn that you don't consider, maybe her firing me lets me know that, I might not have done an acceptable job in communicating with my customers when the season would be starting, and so I think maybe next year I need to make sure that I send a letter out or send a text message and make sure I get a response, or call them. I think they would call and leave a message if they didn't answer, but people don't check their voicemail, so I don't know what happened. But obviously on her end, she did not feel that I had clearly communicated. And so there's something to be learned, and maybe I can tweak my method a little bit. But you don't take it personal and think, well, I must be doing all wrong. Maybe the lawn business isn't for me. You know, you don't overreact because one customer fires you. You know, you keep doing what's working and what makes 98% of people happy. And so I think that's the whole story. And so I want to do a separate video, and I'll put a link to this, but a separate video talking about customers and what they look like, and just giving a little more and maybe in a shorter version of how to expound on this and what customers are like and how to think about customers, you know, because they're a big part of what we do. So anyway, that I would say that went wrong, you know, not terrible, but business is growing. I'm enjoying what I do. You know, I really am enjoying the lawn business, and I think that is a real gift from the Lord, and something that I just don't think that many people enjoy their job. And the fact that I can enjoy my job, have some freedom being self-employed, even though it's demanding, even though it's hard work, enjoying it and making a living, and, you know, feeling really optimistic about the trajectory of my business. You know, so I'm really excited. I think things are going well. So anyway, that was May for me. Looking forward to June. Obviously the summer's coming. I'm not going to be picking up as many customers most likely, but you know, the business is still growing. Hopefully to still pick up maybe 5 or 10 a month through the course of the summer, and maybe get to 250 by the end of the year. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. And anyway, hope that helps. Thanks a lot.